Okay, just trying to answer another question. Uh, Violating the oath is generally considered an ethical violation. Oath, whether in professional conduct context like medicine or law, or in personal context like promises, are taken to uphold certain values and responsibilities. Violating the oath signifies a failure to uphold those values and a breach of trust, thus constituting an ethical lapse. Okay, I've been talking to a lot of people. They've been having issues, medical issues, and I've been trying to explain to them about informed consent. In order to give informed consent, they need reasonable knowledge to make an informed decision. And that usually has to do with medications. Their issues are prolonged because instead of giving them answers, they give them prescriptions. Instead of testing the patient for whatever ails them, they test their patients and see how long they can go on these medications. A lot of us develop addictions because of the constant use of these constant, prolonged overuse and unnecessary use of these medications. Okay, in these cases, the Hippocratic Oath reinforces the expectations that doctors must take every reasonable step to avoid causing them. Failure to do so not only violates the ethical foundation of medicine, but also serves as evidence of negligence in a court of law. Okay, what is considered an ethical violation? What happens if you violate the Hippocratic Oath? There's no direct punishment for breaking the Hippocratic Oath, although an arguable equivalent in the modern times of medical malpractice, which carries a wide range of punishments from imprisonment to civil penalties. Okay, I also did a video on violating the oath. Fines, removal from public service, and incarceration. Summary: ethics and public corruption laws. Is there a legal consequence for failing to follow the Hippocratic Oath? Hippocratic Oath losing relevant in today's world. Still penalties for violating the code of ethics. Violating the code of ethics is because you violated the oath. How to report a doctor or dentist for Hippocratic Oath violation. You can always throw that in that you did not give informed consent. Okay. Look up informed consent, which basically requires you to have reasonable knowledge to make an informed decision. And this young lady was talking about her son with the dentist and gave him some medication where it was highly hallucinogenic, and he had some episodes or something, and he was a young child, about 10 or so. And she was worried, and I don't know what happened. I think he had to go to the hospital or something. Okay. How is it possible that no one is charged for brief vote? That's a question I often ask myself. But people will say, well, there's a law, they can legally do this, they can legally do that. Thus comes under the color of law, the term under the color of law. Is it legal? Now, you have to understand that in the rules of professional conduct in the preamble, it clearly states all lawyers, as well as judges, are required to do what's in the public interest. That includes the laws they make, and the Constitution was clearly written And you can question the internet, and I also did a video on that. The Constitution was written in the needs of the many, not the greed of the few. Okay. So when they take the oath, they are legally required to establish only laws that are in the public interest, and the public interest is in the needs of the many. Okay, the public trust doctrine requires everything within it, everything contained, be maintained in the public interest. Maintain the public trust. So remember, not only, when you violate the oath, you violate those are ethical violations as well. Okay? And when it comes to the rules and the codes, violating those, that's violating your right to effective assistance of counsel, guaranteed in the Sixth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Without effective assistance of counsel, you didn't have a fair trial. Without a fair trial, due process did not exist. And you could easily find out if due process did exist in your case just by going over the rules and the codes. And that's a whole lot of ammunition to use against them. People say they want to take down crooked lawyers and judges. Well, all starts when you walk into the court. Walk in there with the rules and the codes and make sure everybody goes by the book, the law books, their job description, their legal obligations to you in that court of law. Okay, people, yes, violating an oath is an ethical violation. Okay, you got to ask yourself, why am I telling you this instead of your public servants? Any decent lawyer, well, I can't say that, but you'll have to refer to the rules of professional conduct, and you'll find it's actually that they are legally obligated to give you reasonable knowledge, to make an informed decision, to get your informed consent. Nothing but peace and love to you, all right? Good night. May your Creator rain many blessings.